stop Allie.
Well, brother, we aren't going to stop her. I am.
Tal, she drained me of all my energy. Nearly killed me. I don't know that you alone is going to be enough.
Perhaps, but what other choice do we have? Brother, for years, I've watched you do things no other hero is capable of. It's rather inspired me to have a go myself.
So this time last year, you were trying to destroy the world. And now you're fighting for it.
I'm not fighting for the world, Cal. I'm fighting for you. You and your family are the only people on this planet that truly matter to me. Skiloro kiathwarup ewete.
Here we go. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Fine, thank you. Fine.
I'm excited to be talking with you today. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Not at all. I'm always thrilled when anyone is interested in me in any way. So it's
Well, how could I not be? You're from Superman and Lois.
look, you've got the shirt.
Yep,
That's
I do. And I have to say it's an honor to be chatting with you. And you're the second Superman actor I've talked to since I started.
Oh, who else have you spoken to?
Eric.
Oh, bless him. How's he doing?
It was a pretty great interview, and I'm excited to be talking with you and learning more about your time on the show.
Well, as I said, the honor is all mine. I'm glad to be talking to you. Where are you? Somewhere in the Midwest?
Yeah, Minnesota in the US.
Oh, lovely. So it's getting very cold there now.
Oh, it's already very cold. We had a snowfall this morning.
Oh, really?
Yep, I don't like it.
No. Well, I'm from England, so I'm used to it getting cold, but not that cold.
I've always wanted to come to London, so that's my dream vacation.
Oh, well, I'm sure you will at some point. You must visit when you can.
Well, I'm sure I will someday.
So fire away. What would you like to talk about?
I have a lot of questions about Superman and Lois and how your time on the show have impacted the fans and what it's like to play the role of Cal.
Okay.
So how did you get involved directly with Superman and Lois?
Well, actually, one of my agents got in touch and said there's this role in a new Superman show, Superman and Lois. And I said, oh, that's very interesting. Let's talk about that some more. And then the pandemic struck and nothing happened for about 6 months or so. And then, sometime later on in 2020, they got back in touch again and said, would I like to do an audition tape for this part? And I said, yes, I'll do an audition tape. So my wife and I filmed this audition tape for a part that had a made-up name. It wasn't Morgan Edge or Tal-Rho or anything. It was some made-up name, so it was all a bit secret. And I had no idea who it was for. He appeared to be the owner of the Daily Planet. That's all, and and he had an antagonistic relationship with Lois Lane. That's all I knew. So I filmed the tape, and they liked the tape, and very suddenly I found myself on the way to Vancouver to shoot the show. And when I arrived, Todd Helbing, the showrunner, told me a bit more about what was going to be happening, which came as a complete surprise, particularly, obviously, what happened to the character later on. So I didn't know any of this going in. So it was all a bit of a surprise.
When you auditioned for the role, what was it about your take on the character that made the producers like you so much?
It's a good question. I've never quite asked them in those terms, why did you like me so much? Although it'd be quite an interesting question to ask. Well, they wanted him to be, they had this idea of him being English. So immediately, that's a slightly narrower pool. I don't have to beat all the Americans. Well, maybe, you know, some of them might do the accent well, but they were looking at British actors, I think. And you know, I think they were kind of interested in the Thor Loki vibe, so I gave them a kind of TV Tom Hiddleston, and they went for it, you know.
That definitely has that kind of vibe when you watch the show.
Yeah. Well, that brothers relationship was clearly, you know, had been observed as being fun in those movies, and you know, maybe had some impact on what we did.
And Tal-Rho is a pretty exciting introduction to the DC TV universe and the
Yeah.
Arrowverse, because he's very unique on the show. He's not someone that we would normally see in the comics.
That's right.
Which is pretty exciting. He's pretty much an original character just for the show.
Yeah.
And with the surprise twist that he's the half brother of Superman, how has that allowed you to make the character your own?
Yeah. Well, obviously, it was great that he didn't exist before. So it really was. I was able to just do whatever felt natural for me, and that was going to be Tal-Rho, you know, without people coming up to me and going, yeah, but, you know, when they first introduced him in 1973, he was a bit more like this, you know, there was none, I didn't have to worry about any of that. Not that people have to worry about that too much in these shows, because we're always creating these characters afresh. But obviously it was a completely blank canvas for me. And it was obviously a fun twist that he had this different background, and the writers had a very good ear for him having a British background and having the kind of turn of phrase that that might come from that background, which contrasted well with Superman's, you know, very all-American way of sort of saying things, and his nobility and all the rest of it. So yeah, it was great to be able to access all of that, which you know, I was able to use my own background to some degree and my own turn of phrase with this character who was you know, still part of the Superman universe, which is unusual. Obviously, most people have an American background in these shows.
And when we are first introduced to you on the show, you come on as Morgan Edge, and then on the second half, you're revealed to be Tal-Rho. What was it like to keep the secret for half the season?
Well, it was tantalizing. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if everyone else knew what was going to happen. I think the cast did. But as I say, it was a great surprise to me, and I was already in Vancouver preparing to start shooting as Morgan Edge when Todd said, "Oh, by the way, he's Superman's brother, and he turns into this other guy." I was like, "Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that." So it was very exciting, and particularly when we started doing a little bit of press for the show, you know, I was very excited for this reveal. I think it was episode 10 in season 1, wasn't it, where it was revealed. So we were all, you know, saying the secret, Morgan Edge's big secret, is coming up soon. So do tune in next week, all that kind of stuff. It was exciting.
It was very exciting. I did not see that coming at all.
Did you not? Oh, good.
No. Just that Morgan Edge was up to something, but I did not expect this other side of him.
I know. I was surprised because it's a big, as you said, it's a very big deal to introduce a completely new character, isn't it? Particularly Superman's brother. I'm surprised they were allowed to do that in a way. So of course it's a huge, you know, Superman was a big deal for me when I was a kid. I was very much a Superman fan before almost anything else. It was Superman and Star Wars, and
Same here.
yeah, you know what I mean. And to be involved in that is a big deal. It was it's a big thrill. I'm so glad that it happened.
What was working on the set with the cast like?
Really good. You know, the truth is you never know what you're going to get, and it's not always a terrific mix of people, or you know, you don't get on with someone, or there's a weird atmosphere, or you never know what you're going to get on film sets. This bunch are great. They really are. They're just the most wonderful group. We all became very close. It was during the pandemic, so we were all isolated from our friends and family, shooting the first season. So we became very close. And yeah, I think they're all really well cast for their parts, and just a great bunch to work with and to hang out with, and led amazingly by, you know, Tyler and Bitsy, who have a wonderful chemistry themselves, and you know, and lead the show brilliantly.
And that I definitely agree with Tyler and Bitsy. I've never really grown up watching a Superman and Lois on my television, other than the movies. But watching this modern day take of my generation was really exciting to watch, especially after their first appearance on the CW Supergirl show.
Yeah.
And it just kind of escalated from there, and they definitely have fantastic chemistry when it comes to playing.
They do. They kind of are reminiscent of Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder a bit, aren't they? But they also bring elements of the other iterations. Because I grew up watching. Obviously, I watched the Christopher Reeve movies when I was a kid, but I was also a teenager in the what was the one with there was one with Dean Cain and
the 90s Lois and Clark.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that, you know, because they had a fun sort of chemistry. I mean, apparently they hated each other in real life, but they had
I did not know that.
I'm just repeating stuff I read on the internet. But the show was great, and their chemistry was great. But I think Tyler and Bitsy kind of bring all of those together and then add more as well.
When it comes to working with the cast, is there anyone that you haven't gotten to work with too much that you would like to work with some more?
Well, yeah, a couple of people. Obviously, early on, Morgan Edge and Lois Lane had this whole thing going on, and then as soon as he became Tal-Rho, that you know, I got sort of taken into the Superman storyline and didn't have so much to do with Bitsy, which was a shame, because we had, you know, it's great fun when you play characters that hate each other. So it'd be fun to do a bit more of that. And my dear friend Wale, I don't have a lot to do with him, and it would be fun to work with him more, because we're good friends in real life.
And he's a really great actor too.
He's terrific. He's amazing. He's a bit too handsome. I'm not sure I want to share with him, but yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to get those two guys together a bit more, because obviously they're very suspicious of each other too. All these antagonistic relationships are always kind of delicious to play when you're friends in real life, you know.
Oh, for sure, and especially when I wanted to see more of Tal and Cal moments, even after the events of season 2, like how everything would come together if they literally become like a part of the family.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out at some point. Who knows? I don't know what they intend.
Yeah, well, we know they were close in the Bizarro world, but in the current Earth that we're in, they kind of hate each other.
Yeah, exactly.
How has the experience on the show been like for you?
In life generally, I mean, it's fun to be in a show that people watch for a start. It was broadcast the year after the first season came out. I was living in the UK, and it was actually broadcast on one of the main channels there. So it was quite fun that, you know, my son, who's 7, his friends had seen the show and stuff like that, which is fun, you know. And people had seen it and really enjoyed it. So that's, you know, it's always nice to be in shows that people have heard of and have watched, because certainly in my career that's not always been the case. It's great to be involved in something which has been a success, and it's undeniably been a great success. You know, I think
it's like one of the greatest shows I've watched on the TV right now.
It really could go either way, couldn't it? You know, you never know what you're going to get, even with a character like Superman. If people don't like the Superman and don't like the Superman and Lois, then even an amazing character like that could not be brilliantly received. So it was by no means guaranteed, but I think they were very smart about how they approached it and how they combined the family elements with the more sci-fi elements, and it was a huge success. So of course it's great to be a part of something that does well.
Especially when you're a fan of the Arrowverse for the last 10 years. I've a lot of the shows I love so much, but they kind of keep the same things going each season.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
with Superman and Lois, it's a completely different tone.
And it's some of the others, it's a bit more story of the week, isn't it? Whereas ours is more of an arc over the whole season. Is that right?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the other shows are over now, but the only thing that's really left standing is the Superman show, and
yeah, well,
long time.
Long may it continue. Long may it continue. I know the problem with these companies keep getting bought and sold, and you never know who's in charge. So I hope it's still getting the love that it deserves.
And I hope so too, especially with James Gunn running the show now. So hopefully he can keep the show going for a little longer.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
You have some pretty epic battle scenes with Superman. What was it like fighting with Tyler's Man of Steel?
Well, it was fairly hilarious. And quite hard work for me. You know, Tyler's very young and fit, and I'm getting old, so it was a little bit of a struggle. But you know, we didn't have to do anything it's fairly comic book stuff. You know, we don't have to do enormous amounts of sort of training and work to do those fight scenes. And also there's a lot done in CGI. You know, we're blasting each other through mountains and things. Fortunately, you don't have to try and fake that in real life. But yeah, we always had a laugh because he's a true professional. He always gives 100%, but we also, you know, he has a sense of humor. So doing those fight scenes was fun. Yeah.
So is there any well, it seems like there's a lot of about the Kryptonian culture that Tal can teach Superman.
Yes.
I think after the events of the first 2 seasons, we'll see a brother-like relationship in the future.
Well, I think we should, don't you? I mean, I think so, but of course, I'm not. It's not my decision. I think it would be great to explore all of that. In fact, I think Tal should have his own spin-off show. I mean, of course, these are all things that I think. But whether other people who actually make the decisions agree with me is another thing. But I think confidently I can say that the fans liked that relationship and enjoy the tension between them being brothers who kind of love each other, but there's always this danger that Tal is going to, you know, make a grab for power. Even though he loves his brother, he loves being number one, and so there will always be that tension. And yeah, of course, I think it would be fun to explore that further and see if they can work together a bit, and then see what happens. But we'll see, Belle. We'll see.
Hopefully soon. I mean, after the events of season 2, we got a couple of those episodes where you didn't know where Tal was going to go after he came out of his prison. There were moments where I'm like, is he going to do something stupid or is he going to do something heroic?
And I was exactly the same, you know, because we don't really get told very much. So I was, I mean, is he going to show up at the last minute and, you know, try and ruin everything and help Ali, or what's he going to do? But it was nice to have those moments at the end where, you know, he's truly on the same team and appears to be trying to genuinely make amends. But, you know, whether that's really true, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to see. I mean, during the season finale, Tal left things pretty good with the Kent's family, by giving the kids trucks.
I know. I'd be interested to see if we see those trucks in season 3.
Hopefully season 3 will have something to show. Are there any Superman villains or heroes that you would love for Tal-Rho to interact with?
Well, I mean, yeah. There's always, if you're talking about Superman villains, you've always got to talk about Lex Luthor, right?
Of course. How can you not get Lex Luthor involved?
And we appear to be inhabiting a new universe, right? I mean, you know about all this more than me. I find it to follow
I think I do.
all of the mythology behind all of this. But I think I'm right in saying it's been established that our world has never been, is slightly different to any of the other previous Arrowverse worlds, right?
Yeah, pretty much, especially after the whole multiverse crossover the last time,
Right.
where everything's stuck on one Earth now.
Which basically means we can pretty much do what we like.
Yeah, pretty much.
We like. We can have a brand new Lex Luthor at some point. There's nothing been established to prevent that. So, I mean, obviously that would be fun. Who else? Name me some more villains. Who are the villains you're interested in seeing?
Oh man. Well, Lex Luthor was definitely a good one.
I mean, we got a good one coming up, I believe, right?
Ooh, I don't know. We definitely have a bunch of things to look forward to for the next season. I guess we'll have to see what happens during season 3 with the villain that they're gonna have.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see if there are more crossovers in the future from people we already know. I mean, we've got Diggle, haven't we?
Yep, we got Diggle. I would definitely love to see Supergirl come in because after her show ended, I would love to see more of the relationship with her and
Definitely.
It would be interesting to have Kara meet Tal.
I mean, we're cousins, right? So we're family. We're family. All of these things would be great. I don't know exactly what the rules are, and I don't know what they I have no idea what the producers' intentions are. But whatever they always come up with stuff that none of us have ever thought of, which is great.
Any of the changes that they made from the comics to the TV shows, I love them all.
Right. So you're a hardcore fan, and that's great. So long may it continue.
Well, I'm definitely working my way at becoming a bigger fan by trying to collect all the DVDs. I don't even have the Superman shows yet, so that's something I gotta grab.
Yes. No, you must.
Well, hopefully with my birthday coming up, I'll probably get one or something. I don't know yet.
Oh, when's your birthday?
December 30th.
Oh, my son's is on the 28th. So it's quite a good time because I mean, you either it's good or it's bad, right? You either you get lots of presents, but you also have to
pretty much. I mean, I already know I'm getting a gaming computer this year, so that's something to look forward to.
That's exactly what my son wants.
What a coincidence.
He's a bit younger than you, so my wife and I having to figure out whether we give him that or not. What are you getting?
It's gaming PC. Hopefully, I have an iMac not an iMac, just a MacBook Pro right now. I'm just hoping to get a computer that's 10 times more powerful than what I have, because I can't really game on here like I want to, or use any of the Adobe programs.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well,
the computer's not strong enough for any of it.
Good luck. I hope you get what you want.
Yep, I'll be able to game exactly everything that I want to, especially when it comes to video games that are not on the consoles I currently have.
Have you got any of these little handheld ones that you can sort of carry around?
Yep, I have the PlayStation Vita handheld, Nintendo Switch, and
is that good? The Switch is good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I have the one that plugs into your TV as well as playing it on the go.
Oh, it can plug into the TV. Oh, that's interesting.
It's definitely easier to travel with and easier to be able to play games on your TV because I have eye problems now, so I can't exactly look at handheld devices for so long.
Oh yeah, they are. The screens are tricky, aren't they?
It's even worse when you're trying to play super graphics games and you can't really look at them for so long.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. All right. Well, thank you for that. This is all good information that I need. I need to know more about these.
I don't know which one I'm getting yet, but all I know is that gonna get one.
That's what you're hoping for. Okay, good.
Hopefully it'll do things better for me when I get it.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So what are your favorite things about playing Cal?
Well, it's fun to play people who are all powerful. I in real life I happen to not be all powerful. So it's fun to play people who have these amazing abilities and also insane levels of self-confidence. So of course we all know with Tal that he's faking it really, and that's what's fun about it. He's not this supreme confident being that he appears to be, and that's the fun bit, is the humanity underneath that facade of vain confidence. He's actually rather damaged. He's a great character. I mean, he really is a great character. I take my hats off to the writers. They created a really rich character there, which has been great to play.
And during his origin story, it looked like he pretty much came to Earth to try to help out Cal, but that didn't exactly work out. So I think now as an adult, I think he's just learning, wanting to have a family of his own or something. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's what he always wanted. He was he was kind of programmed with this mission by his father. Yeah. But deep down, that wasn't what he wanted, or at least it wasn't enough. He needed that contact and that sense of family as well. He couldn't just be a sort of robot for his father's interests, for recreating Krypton on Earth. He actually had emotional needs. So all of that stuff was fun to explore.
Well, I hope we get to explore some more of that sometime soon. I don't even know if you're in season 3 or not, but hopefully
I can't tell you. I guess I can't tell you the answer to that. But, all I can say, Belle, is keep rooting for me, because we all want to see him back at some point.
Well, so do I. So hopefully, crossing our fingers that we'll see some more of Tal soon.
Absolutely.
What was your favorite episode or scene to film?
I mean, as an actor, I think the most rewarding one, I mean, lots of them were great fun, but as an actor, there's a scene where we first meet the hologram of our mother in season 2. Mm-hmm. And they go in, it requires sort of drilling into Tal's emotional backstory a bit, and how upset he feels about perceiving himself as the second son, the less important son, and I thought they wrote that really beautifully, and it gave me the opportunity to do some sort of grown-up acting, even though we're in the context of this comic book world, and that was really rewarding to play. That kind of stuff is why we do the job. It doesn't matter whether you're in something terribly serious or something more popular. When you get those real human stories to play, that's great. At the other end of the spectrum, of course, when we're all having big fights, particularly when there's 3 or 4 characters there, me and Tyler and Ian Bohen all smashing bells out of each other, those scenes are hilarious too, and they're great fun. So it's a nice mix of the two on this show.
It was because I have to say, it was because of watching Tyler and Ian Bohen that during season 2 that I became a Teen Wolf fan.
Oh right, so you've gone back and watched all of that.
I've never seen the show before. I've heard about it, and now I can't stop watching it.
Maybe I'll have to go back and check it out. Obviously, I heard a lot about it, and it was it was great fun that they were able to continue their relationship, on another show.
When I was live tweeting one of the episodes during the finale, close to the finale of season 2, I saw hashtag Teen Wolf Reunion, and I had no idea what that was about until now.
Right.
I thought they were talking about the movie coming out. I only knew about that one. But now I know
Well,
everything.
Tyler was shooting that as we were finishing season 2. I mean, it was ridiculous. He's playing Superman and Clark Kent in a TV series and having to fly off and do Teen Wolf sort of on his off days. I mean,
He was doing that during season 2.
yeah, I don't know how he does it. It's ridiculous. I'd have a nervous breakdown. But
Well, if I ever had a chat with him, I'm definitely going to ask him about that.
all right. Well, I will put a word in for you when I next see him.
Oh my gosh. You don't have to. I could just try to reach out to his management team, I guess.
Well, he's a great guy, so I'm sure he would be responsive.
Well, hopefully that'll come through or something. So last season we get to see the Bizarro world. If the Bizarro world existed, what do you think that your doppelganger would be like?
Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
Adam's doppelganger. Good question. Well, what was the reverse? My Bizarro self, he was a pretty chipper chap, wasn't he? He was pretty friendly. I think mine would inevitably be some kind of supervillain, probably. My personal Bizarro self. Because I'm obviously terribly nice in real life, so my Bizarro self would have to be a villainous character, I think.
Well, that would definitely be interesting. I mean, I don't even know who I would be if Bizarro world existed. I mean, right now things are perfect for me because I'm very open about my autism diagnosis. I love pop culture, so I don't think I would change anything about who I am right now.
Yeah, but you have to. If you're going to choose a Bizarro self, you have to imagine the opposite, don't you? So what would that be like?
If I were the opposite, I would definitely. Well, I definitely want to work for the movies, so that's something I see myself doing in another life.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. The Bizarro you is some kind of movie producer mogul making these decisions about whether people like me come back into TV shows.
That was pretty interesting to say, I guess. Bizarro world. I really haven't thought much about that. I even asked Eric
this question a while ago. It's kind of hard to imagine what the exact opposite of oneself is, because you have to figure out exactly what you are in order to figure out exactly what the opposite is.
I could probably be a villain if I could. I mean, I acted out some villainous scenes from movies and stuff on my own, and I scare myself.
Exactly.
I recently redid a movie scene from the Reanimator movie. It's a horror movie, and I freaked myself out.
Well, that's impressive.
I'm usually nicer than that.
I've obviously shot lots of audition tapes, and I'm not sure I've ever actually scared myself. So I would be very pleased with that if I were you.
So I got a couple more questions. I want to know that if you could be the hero or the villain, who would you be and why?
If I could be, or meet.
Yep.
Well, I am both a hero and a villain in the show, aren't I? So I think I got to stick with what I've got, Belle. I mean, I'm Superman's villainous brother. It doesn't get any better than that. Who else could we have? Well, I mean, Batman's pretty cool, isn't he? Let's be honest.
That would be pretty cool. I honestly don't know who I would be in that question either. Right now, I kind of see myself as the hero of my own story.
Yeah, quite right. quite right.
So two more questions. What is your favorite DC Comics character or movie and TV show that isn't Superman and Lois?
Well, that's a tricky one because, as I said, I was always a Superman fan. So I would be inclined to choose Superman. But I guess I guess the Batman movies would be my favorite outside of the Superman world.
Which Batman?
It's got to be Christian Bale, really, hasn't it? I mean, he's just such an amazing actor, and those films kind of changed everything again, you know. Although that said, the Michael Keaton Batman actually is terrific.
I agree. I mean, Keaton and Bale are my favorites, hands down.
If I was going to have to watch one of them right now, I would watch the Michael Keaton Batman again.
Well, I'm gonna end up watching Batman Returns at some point because it's technically a Christmas movie for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my last question is gonna be: are you currently working on any new projects?
I have just finished filming a show called Warrior for HBO Max. It's an interesting show set in San Francisco in the 1870s. Lots of martial arts. It's about gang warfare between Chinese gangs in San Francisco and Irish gangs.
Something about that online.
Yeah,
I have.
It's season 3, so it's been out there for a while. It just hasn't been there hasn't been a new season for a couple of years because of the pandemic. But check it out, Belle. Check it out.
Okay, I'm writing it down right now, and I'll definitely start watching it by this weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting, and an interesting mix of genres. It's part martial arts show, part historical Peaky Blinders gang show, part sort of even got Western elements to it. So I just finished doing that, and that will be out sometime next year. So check it out.
I'll definitely do that. I need something new to watch. There's nothing else
There you
worth
go.
watching at this point.
There you go. Have you got HBO and HBO Max?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, okay, go find it. Go find
Got
it.
every streaming service I can think of.
Okay, good.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, Adam. It was definitely really fun to chat with you and learn a lot more about what it's like to be on the show.
It was my absolute pleasure, Belle, and let's talk again in the future.
I love that. I'll have a link sent out to your reps when I have the video uploaded to YouTube.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I hope you get everything your heart's desires for Christmas, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. You too.
Take care. Bye.
Have a good one.